Right, you ready to go, mate?
Okay, yeah, I've accepted.
Welcome, everyone, again. Welcome back to the Emotional and Mental Struggles podcast. Before I get going, I just, as always, want to send you loads of good health and happiness to you and your family. Today's a big subject, especially, I say stereotypically, men, we find this one quite difficult to talk about. However, it's definitely something, as you'll hear from me and Stuart, that us blokes that we do go through, and it's loneliness. And today I've got my wonderful friend with me, Stuart, who's going to be a regular feature on the My Safe Space channel because he's a regular feature on the My Safe Space platform. And I'm really grateful to have you on board. Stu, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm okay, mate. Yeah, I'm all
Fantastic.
right, doing all right. Yeah.
So,
Well,
mate,
as you know, I'm doing all
sorry, go on. Carry on. Sorry, Stu.
right. I was just saying that, as you know, I've been suffering a bit recently with certain things, and I've had the all clear a couple of times, so I'm doing all right. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
If I had a spinny chair, I'd be doing a U.
Yeah, mate. Five for things. I spun round now and knocked myself out, so I'm not going to do
No, don't do that.
it. But mate, this is something me, you. And shout out to Dougie and shout out to Tony as well, who normally have been on our four nut jobs, who make up the other half of the four nut jobs. Shout out to both you two and your families as well. This is something obviously we've spoke about, Stu, and I'm sort of going to hand it over to you now because I mean I don't need to tell you difficult things can how they used to be harder. I'd say probably for both of us to talk about as men things like loneliness, and if you want to sort of kick off with your experiences of feeling lonely.
Loneliness is horrible. It's I find it hard to put into words what it makes you feel. Makes you feel worthless. Nobody cares about you. You're on your own. You just think everybody's against you, the whole world, and it makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do. I mean, I turned to alcohol when I was really at my lowest, lonely, and which I shouldn't have done really. I'll come out of it in the end, but it was a long battle to realise that I wasn't lonely. I just thought I was lonely. I did have a support network around me, but at the time, it didn't feel like it, and I felt I was on my own and trapped, just like you're trapped in a room, a soundproof room, and you're banging on the walls, and no one's hearing, no one's listening to you, and just it just goes over and over in your head. You question everything you do. You withdraw. Oh, I did. I definitely withdraw. Sort of shut myself away. I wasn't answering my phone to nobody. I wouldn't even answer to my kids. You know, it was a sad time, and it was all for a marriage breakup. That's what done me. It was a marriage breakup. Because I know us blokes don't like it, but I loved it a bits. When we broke up, it broke my heart, and I just lived. I was living on my own, and I just spiraled out of control. And I think what brought me out of it was my daughter. She always knew I'm going back a few years now. She always knew I wanted an English Bull Terrier puppy, and years like as you know, I've just got another one this past week. But she turned up one day on the doorstep. She had bred hers with a 7-week-old white English Bull Terrier puppy, and she said, "Here you go. You always wanted one," and that's what saved me. That's what turned me around. It gave me something to care for, something to concentrate on, and something that was there with me all the time, showing me love. Because an animal's love is unconditional, you know. It just brought me out, got me out the drink, got me off the drink. It's amazing, absolutely. And then of course I lost her through cancer 7 years later. That was a bit of a hard time as well. But I didn't get as bad as I did before. I did feel lonely. But I shouldn't have done, because, like I say, I've got people, I've got family, and but it's, you just, when that loneliness hits you, it's, whether you got family or whatever you got around you, you shut it out, you block it out, and it, it's, I don't know. I just find it hard. But one good thing did come out of it. I learnt that I can live with myself. That I'm happy with myself, happy within myself, and happy with my own company, which is, over the last few years, has really kept me going, especially what happened a couple of years ago, as you know, with my son. That was a lonely time as well, I suppose. Even though we had all the family around us, there was a lot of crying and a lot of things like that. But that was very lonely, because losing my son like that, I felt like I'd lost a real big part of my life, which I had. You know, I mean, we went a lot of places, especially football. You know, we always went to football. Now I don't go to football. I won't go to football anymore, because that was mine and his thing. So I won't do that anymore. I watch it on the telly, and that's about it. I won't go anymore. I won't go up there anymore, because I don't want to make no fresh memories. I want to leave my memories intact to my son, me and my son at football. But that was a lonely time. Even though, like I say, you know, I had my other older children around me, and neighbours and people like that, all fussing over me and cooking me dinners, making sure I was eating, and just generally looking out. I still felt lonely. Even though I had that all around me. And to be fair, yeah, I'm not blowing smoke up your backside, mate, but if it hadn't been for your support group on WhatsApp in February 2024, I wouldn't. I think I'd still be that lonely now. But it was because of what you've done, and that course we done, your course, the 4 Pillars course. It taught me a few things, you know, about life in general, and how to cope. How to cope with things, like, you know. And I've got you and Dougie and people like that to thank for that. You pulled me away from the brink, because I think I could have quite easily tipped over again and just spiraled again, but you pulled me out of it, and I don't feel lonely now. I mean, not at all. I mean, well, you lot on my case all the time. You know, Dougie phone, you know, video calling me at up past 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, because it's, for yourselves, it's an hour on, but you know, but he knows I'm always up that time anyway, and we chat at least twice a day, and we started doing things on our own, as you know, our football channel that we started doing, you know, and that's all for the likes of you guys, you know.
Quick plug there, though. That is the Cowboys and Indian on YouTube.
Cowboys and
well
Indian,
worth to watch. Cowboys and Indian. When you watch it, try and work out which one's the Indian. It'll be difficult.
Yeah.
But mate, I want to ask you a question, because one of the things you said, and it's funny because you didn't. This didn't get mentioned when you were talking about your wife bit, but when we come on to Rob, your boy, and this is something that I think a lot of people can't, or they find it difficult to understand. And I've heard people sort of advise people illy that, oh, you know, you're not lonely. You know, you've got loads of people around you. You can be so lonely in the busiest of rooms. And you said that when, obviously, after losing your boy, there was a point where you had, you know, other kids, your other children around you. You had people, but you said, you know, I felt lonely. Can you sort of, if you can, sort of try and articulate how that feels, to feel that sense of loneliness, but yet still be packed with other people that you love, like all around you and whatnot, but it still don't take away from the fact that you're feeling lonely at that point?
Yeah, it's hard to describe, because like you say, people that haven't experienced it, they can say, how can you feel lonely when you got all them people around you, you know, hugging you and sharing the grief with you and all that, but you still feel lonely. I'm trying to articulate it best I can. It just felt like I don't know. I'm trying to find the words. I'm not very good at finding words for things unless they're foul language.
Take your time, mate, because whatever will come, it will be authentic as always. So
yeah, I know. It sounds stupid to talk about it because I shouldn't have felt lonely, especially because I have a younger daughter living here as well, and now her fellas, her other half lives here as well. But I still felt lonely even though they were here. I mean, Jess was here all the time. The other boys were. I had all my neighbours around, coming around watching the football and that, and trying to keep my spirits up. But I don't know. It's whether it was just me internally thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. I can't articulate it, mate. It's just one of them feelings that I can't put a word to it. I just felt.
can I suggest something? And I might be well off, but just have a think. So both with the missus thing, there was the loneliness of that loss, obviously, of
That
that
was different.
relationship.
That was a different loneliness.
Right. Okay. I'll stop if you want to sort of maybe touch on why that was different. Then.
That was a different loneliness. I suppose when me and the missus split up back then, the loneliness there was the fact that she, pardon my French, fucked off, and she took my kids, JD and Robbie. I mean, JD lives with me now with her fella, and Robbie's the one that passed, as you know. She took them, and that hurt. That was it was lonely because she took my children, and also it might sound selfish, but I felt lonely because I had no one to snuggle up to in bed, no one to cuddle up to in bed. You know what I mean? No one to share my thoughts with. Because I thought we were soulmates. I thought, she was like a friend as well, like a best friend.
Mm.
I had no one to talk to, like that. But it was a different loneliness compared to when I lost my son, and I had everybody around me. The loneliness there is like, I suppose it's a mixture of grief and loneliness. It sort of knots itself together like one of them knots. What them knots they call it? I can't think of them knots they call these weird knots. It's like loneliness and grief mixed. Even though my other kids around me and were grieving as well, but their grief was. See, this might sound horrible, but to me, their grief was they lost their brother. They lost their brother. Okay, I've lost my son. And I've lost somebody that I helped make. I was a part of, even though when she pissed off, once I calmed myself down and got myself straight, we had joint custody. We had it, 3.5 days a week each. It sounds silly, but we sort of split the week in half. I'd have him one half of the week, and she'd have him the next half of the week. So I was part of his upbringing, helped him, took him to school, wiped his nose, you know what I mean? If he fell over, wiped his cuts on his knees, whatever. Took him to football and took him out on my bike and taught him how to ride a motorcycle and all that sort of thing. But losing him, I find it was different to their grief, their loneliness. I don't think they felt lonely. They grieved, but I felt lonely as well as grief because I'd lost somebody, a partner, for want of a better word, not in a male female or male.
I know what you mean. I know
the
exactly
father-son partnership, because we were very close, very, very close. And I felt like my soul had been ripped away from me for a while. Not saying it wasn't for you guys. I still feel that way now. I suppose sometimes I still do. I sit here sometimes and little things, especially when I go to bed. I lay in bed and I like reading every night. And I lay there and I pick my book up, and sometimes just little, like last night I was reading, and I like crime thrillers and things like that, you know, science fiction, anything. But I'm reading this crime thriller at the moment, and this cop he's gone into the morgue, and he's describing the morgue, and as he's describing the morgue in the book, all I've got through my head is when I went and identified my son in the hospital morgue. I'm picturing myself walking down a corridor in this bleak part of the fucking hospital, pardon my French.
That's fine.
And then took into this horrible, dingy, bloody room, and then was led in, and there he was, just laying on this slab, so impersonal, you know. And I just broke down, and when I come out, I punched the wall a couple of times, and this cop turned around, he said to me, oi, 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 and I just looked at him, I said, shut the fuck up. You want to shut the fuck up now, because I will rub your face all up down this wall, you know. Yeah. But yeah, getting I can't really. It's a weird, loneliness is weird. It can affect you in any ways. Like I said, some nights I feel lonely, and yet I shouldn't feel lonely, you know, because I haven't long got off the phone with Dougie or something, so my ears are still ringing. You know, or I've spoken to my kids or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got my little dog, and now I've got another one, an English Bull Terrier, 8 weeks old, or 9 weeks old now. So I'm going to be kept busy with him. So, yeah, it's a weird thing, because I do feel lonely sometimes still. It's not as bad, though. It's not as intense as it was. You know, sometimes I do, you know, not just in bed, but sometimes you know, sitting flicking through YouTube, watching what football channel or what football channel? That West Ham channel. Little plug there, brother. You know, you're watching it, and sometimes it might be some sort of subject, and I think myself, Robbie would really love watching this bit. He would, you know, and it make me, I thought, you know, it's whether it's sadness or the what, I call it loneliness, because you suddenly realise he would have watched this with me, and I'm watching it on my own. You know, there's nobody else in the family that's into football like I am. You know, well, I say they're not. Me, 2 older boys are, but they live in Dartford. You know, so they're not going to come down and sit here watching YouTube with their old man. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a funny thing, mate. Loneliness. I suppose other people would describe it other ways. I can't put it into words, really. I know I've rabbited on.
You've made it. I'm going to interject and say, and this is the point.
Yeah.
Loneliness is the most personal experience. Other people will always experience it differently, because it is such an individual. Like you said, sometimes you just can't put your finger on it. And there is, you mentioned in the first, when you first started talking, and sort of just at the end, there's different levels of loneliness. There is different types of loneliness. And when I was sort of asking you about your son and what they did, and you hit the nail on the head, the loneliest emotion of all, which it has to be, is grief. Grief is low. It's the epitome of loneliness. When you get, and obviously this is something that, you know, we've spoken about many times, about the fact that you will never stop grieving, Robbie. You will never get over the grief of grieving, Robbie, because you're not supposed to. That's not how it works. However, obviously, I'm not going to put words in your mouth. I'm going to lead up with a question to this. Obviously, there's steps you've taken since where you was about a year ago when we met, where, you know, that was a very encapsulating part of your loneliness, was that loss of your boy, and understandably so as well. Is he all right?
Guess who's woken up?
Oh, is it? And the truth is, you've had to take steps, no matter what. You know, I know, and I'm really grateful you spoke about going on my course and the pillars and it helping. However, as you know, the whole point of the course is...
It was a big thing. It was a big thing, that course. It really was. It was a game changer for me. And I met some nice people through your course. Some good people, and I call them friends. You know,
definitely.
I know it's a plug, but if there's anybody out there that needs to do something, they should do your 4 Pillars course. They really should,
mate.
It's a game changer.
And I appreciate you saying that. And it's a game changer, though, Stu, because you have to do the work, and that's the important.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's what I mean. You found it just so happened to be me in the course, but you found the tool set that you went, shit. For whatever reason, you went, you know what, I'm buying into this. And when you're saying I'm buying into this, what you're actually saying is I'm buying into me, as in you, Stuart, right now, because that's what the course does. It brings a mirror up, doesn't it? And it's like, right, I've got to face me. And that's the loneliest point I found from my own experience of loneliness and grief, which I don't want to go through on this episode because you smashed that out of the park, mate. Didn't know what to expect. We had a little chat beforehand. The way that's gone, though, I don't want... I'll share we'll do another podcast, me and you, and I'll talk about being lonely, because that was brilliant. You know, you gave 2 examples that, number one, you know, that divorce, that split up, that marital breakdown from a male's perspective, which often we won't talk about how much we miss the soulmate snuggling in at night, that sharing thoughts. This is what I mean. That ain't soft. That's the strongest part of being a bloke, you know?
Even just sitting on the sofa watching the telly, you know, like we used to together, watching a movie or something, that was gone, you know, and I'd sit there and I'd be on my own and think, oh, great, you know what I mean? It's life, isn't it? You know,
it is. It is life.
Suck it up, buttercup, isn't it? You know?
And you know, you say that, and you have to suck it up to an extent to move forward with it, because you have to, don't you? It's not as if the world ends. We know that. It feels like it does, but it keeps moving. And then obviously, giving the example, grab him. I was going to say that. Let's have a look at him. Oh, hello. What's his name?
James.
Oh, hello. Is my boy? Oh, James. Looking beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But then, you know, moving on to the, you know, sharing the ultimate loneliness for a father is losing his son. You know, that's the depths of loneliness. And when you started facing that, I mean, because would it be fair to say, like I said, obviously we've covered it, you never get over that, but would it be fair to say that you've started to step out of the loneliness of that grief over the last sort of year or so, in regards to how you're dealing with that lonely because it is, like you said, it is different from how your kids experience it, because they were siblings. There's no judgment, it's just different. You're experiencing it from a father, part of the creator, as you perfectly articulated. So that is a very deep sense of loneliness and grief, which is, like I said, grief is the epitome of loneliness. It really is.
I mean, you know, I still feel lonely every now and again now, like I said, but it's nowhere near like it was, you know, and it doesn't last. It'll last 20 minutes and then I'm fine, you know what I mean? So I just have them little wobbles, but I think I'll get them the rest of my life, you know what I mean? So through one thing or another, you know, it's little things remind you about things. And, you know, like when I get my bike out and go for a ride, I feel lonely riding my bike sometimes because he would have been riding his bike with me, you know. So, but then, you know, his spirit is riding with me anyway. So
that's beautiful, mate.
That's the way I look at it anyway.
And Stu,
you bite my ear and I'm going to bite you, mate.
If you could,
on video, you pervert.
If you could give a bit of advice to someone that's facing the sorts, did he bite?
Yeah.
The sorts of levels of the different levels of loneliness that, you know, that you've experienced. If you was to advise someone to try and help them out themselves, what would you sort of, what steps would you tell them to try and take to help?
That's a hard question. That's a really hard question. It's like I say, to get over the marriage breakup loneliness was one of these. A white one of these. Yes, you little bugger, was one of these. And that got me from loneliness there. And I suppose the steps to break the loneliness of grief was going on your 4 pillars course and, like I say, doing it for myself, not doing it for my daughters or my sons, other sons, or for my neighbours. I'd done it for myself because, as you know, you have to do it for yourself on there. You know, you can't expect people to do it for you. You know, you give us the tools to which to repair ourselves, and we have to do it. And that's what we've done. That's what I've done. And I would go on, you little bugger. Make a noise. Go on. I can't let you out till you do a wheel on your pad, and then I'll let you out your pen. Got a big plastic playpen around there.
Nice.
Yeah. You just got to. I suppose it just comes with time as well. Time. It's true what I say. Time is a healer. Time helps heal the loneliness. It's still there, but it loses its intensity over time, and you start to accept things that are going on in your life which before you wouldn't have accepted. You know.
Brilliant, mate. Absolutely.
He's playing with his toys.
Well, listen, I want to wrap this up. I'm going to leave you, as always, to give the last words. But before I pass over Stuart to close yourself, as he always does so eloquently, I just want to say to people that, as I said, that me and Stuart had a quick chat before we came on, and we don't do much prep for this because we want it to be as authentic as possible. And that was such a great experience for me, just to listen as a bloke to someone share about, you know, what it's like to lose your love, something that, you know, as blokes we might try and put a brave face on. And obviously,
that's what you do, and you are so fucking good at it. You sit there and you listen, and you know that's what I've noticed with you. Like now, you're sitting there and you are listening. You're not. Oh, he's rabbiting on. Do you know what I mean? You might be thinking it in your head, but no, I know you're not. But you listen. You actually listen, and I think that's a lot of it. Sometimes you need somebody that will listen, somebody that will listen to you. Yeah, you know, like I say, I spoke to me other kids and all the rest. Yeah, they heard, but they didn't listen. And with you, it's different. You listen. Dougie, he listens. That you know, and JB and Brooksy, and they listened. They would actually sit there and listen to you when you're talking, you know, and I think that helps. At finding someone, you need to find somebody that will listen and let you offload, and they will listen to you. And not judge you. That's the thing, not to judge as well, because sometimes you might come out with certain things that might be a little bit risque or whatever, but that person that's listening can't judge you. There should be no judgment in it, you know. And that's why I know I'm plugging it again, but people should do your 4 pillars course. You know, not just the 8 weeks, but the extended 12 weeks, you know, because it really does work. And I use them every day in my whole life. You know, I love my meditation. I know recently I've slacked a bit on it because of him and other things that we go having with central heating installed and all that. But I love that 10-minute meditation. It's perfect. What a reset. Resets me for the afternoon, you know. I mean, yesterday, because I missed Mondays, done yesterday's, and straight after yesterday's, I went into the recordings and done Mondays, listened to Mondays straight afterwards. So I sort of like doubly reset myself. You know what I mean? But it was good. It was good, you know, and it works. It really does work.
It does.
You know,
it does.
it's not all hippie shit.
No, it's not. It definitely ain't. And if it's perfect time, thank you for that segue to say if you're interested in thinking what's Stuart was referring to, well, this My Safe Space YouTube channel is basically something to showcase the My Safe Space platform, which is an online platform. It's only £10 a month, 33p a day, which is, I don't know what you get for 33p these days. But for that, within the platform, you get a wonderful community of people like Stuart, like myself. I'm open in there as well. There's no leaders in this. There's no Messiah complex. It's not some weird cult that that I sit at the helms of. Not at all. No, this is actually the biggest message within My Safe Space is, don't start all that, is that you are enough. You are the only version of you that ever has been, ever will be, or is being. So you are a one-off. And that's the message, is about appreciating the fact that you've been given an opportunity, whether it be...
See, I never realised that before until that course. But yeah, I am. Yeah, it's true. I am a one-off. There's never going to be another one like me, thank God. Never will be, you know what I mean? I'm a one-off. I'm unique. And that's right. Everybody is. Everybody, if they sit down and actually look at themselves, they will see that they are unique. No matter what they do, their walk of life, whatever they are, whoever they are, race, creed, colour, whatever, doesn't matter. Each person is unique. They're a one-off. And that's realising that. It works. It does work.
It's a game changer. And so I will leave under this video. You've done all the plugging for me, actually. So I'm just going to leave literally a little bit in the description, and then I'll hand over for you to with the usual, please. What I would say, people, underneath this in the description, I'm going to leave a number. You can reach out. It's a UK number. I'm based in Spain, but you can reach out. You can leave a message on WhatsApp. You can give us a shout. It's best way is WhatsApp, because it's free for me to contact you back as well. And if you want to have a trial of the My Safe Space platform, we'll offer you a trial. Come and get involved. It's got every breathwork, meditation, fitness, group coaching sessions. We had a fantastic group coaching session last night, and it's on meaningful subjects like we've spoken about today: loneliness, grief, gratitude, all the things that make you you underneath that you might not want to share. So please don't suffer in loneliness. Reach out. And as Stuart said, it starts by talking. So thank you, everyone that's watched us today. Sending you all good health and happiness and all that good stuff. Like I said, the information will be in the description if you want to reach out and get involved in My Safe Space. Stu, can you do your usual, please, mate?
Certainly will, sir. Take care. Stay safe. And stay lucky, my friends.
Mate, that was fucking... Let me just stop the recording.